you so much, Alice B. Maybe you stay with us because someone special has just joined us. She's a public health community engagement expert for many years, CEO of Vision of Hope. She is like a health resource person.
Oh, of course.
Here on Cameron Feeling.
Yeah.
SHUNDALE, Marceline B. Ayubi, you're welcome.
Thank you, Pastor.
How are you doing?
No, I'm great.
Okay.
It's always a pleasure to be here.
Really glad. Oh, we're glad to have you here because we know you break things down the simplest ways possible. Because you're a community health expert, you deal with people every single day. Because sometimes we know what we've read, we know what we've studied, but the reality on the field is completely different. That's why we need to have you here. So you clear us out with the necessary information, enlightened one. So the big question Alice and I would want to know from you is, how do we know we are mentally unhealthy? How does a person know he or she is mentally unhealthy?
There are a lot of things that will make you to know that you're unhealthy. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that people tend to deny it. But today we want to really talk about it so that each time you notice these signs, you should be able to tell yourself there is something wrong somewhere. First, you start by seeing yourself being dependent. You want validation. You want validation. And because you want validation, they don't give you this validation. You tend to feel like you are inferior, like you are not up to the value. You are not worthy of yourself. People tend to look like the community, where the environment or their workplaces, they are not the best. Maybe they made a wrong choice in the job that they decided to do, or they were coerced, they were forced to get into this job. And once they are there, they don't want to be productive. And then they withdraw themselves and they start giving excuses. They want to be absent from work. They want to tell you, today I'm sick, tomorrow the child is sick, just because they don't want to be in that environment. Now, when you are not mentally upright, you will realize that you feel sad. There are mood swings that you will present. At one moment, you are very happy, and in the next second, you feel very sad. And you cannot give a justification to why you are feeling very happy or very sad. You will realize that you tend to isolate yourself from the community, from socializing. Your friends call you out, or maybe going to fellowship in a Christian a gathering, you just want to abstain, you just want to be alone. You withdraw yourself from community. Once you start having those tendencies, it's good to always check what is not going right. You see that you are so agitated. Maybe you're at the job site, your colleague wants to tell you something, you flare up without any cause. You don't even listen to them. You get so irritated with minor things. You should start asking yourself questions. Am I really fine? Is there something that is stressing me up? Do I need help? Can I meet somebody that will counsel me out of what I am going through? So those are some of the things that we see in the community every day.
Okay. When people think of mental illnesses, Alice and Marceline, they usually feel, okay, you're out on the streets picking things from the trash. So that's when you know that somebody has a mental issue. But it comes with lifestyle.
Yes.
Like simple things around us that show that we are ill mentally. I want us to go from one step to the other.
Yes.
Identifying those things and then some preventive measures. Some ways we can avoid becoming like that. I'll start with, you mentioned workplace stress. So maybe we start with that. Workplace stress, burnout, and becoming exhausted. Like every time from the morning when you come to work, you're already tired. You've done nothing, but you're already tired. What explains that? What's the root of that?
The root can be the fact that you have other commitments. You stress yourself a lot. Maybe you don't get enough sleep. And then when you come in the morning, you're already tired. It could also be that you are tired of the job that you're doing and you need a change of job. But now, because you have that zeal to put in the best that you want to give into that job, you keep working yourself beyond your limit. And now you turn to burnout.
So how do you know you're burning out at a workplace?
At your workplace, when you come in the morning, just like you mentioned, you feel that you're tired, you have work, you're anxious to do the work, but you are unable to do the work, or you turn to focus more on your telephone, watching one video to another on social media. You are no longer giving in to the work. You are no longer motivated. You are not passionate about what you have been doing and that you had passion for before. Then you will realize that this work is getting me stressed above my limit.
She mentioned something earlier. Yeah, she mentioned something earlier, which is anxiety and depression.
Yes.
People think it's the same thing when it's not.
No, it is not.
Can you break down the differences and how they showcase themselves and how we can prevent anxiety, depression?
Yes. Anxiety will present maybe with panics. You have panic attacks. You have, you are scared. You are anxious. Anxiety, you feel anxious. But unlike depression, where you feel sad, and then you want to isolate yourself from the people. Anxiety would make you have episodes of high heart rates, like attacks. We call them palpitations. Yes.
Yeah.
You find yourself like you are scared. That is how, yes, anxiety is fear. Fear for the unknown. Fear for what is going to happen next. Fear like what is going to happen. I don't know what will happen. So you become anxious and you feel that your heart rate is pumping faster. But now when you are depressed, you will feel those moments where you are very, very sad. And depression takes a longer period. For you to say that you are depressed, you must have been through constant stress, traumatic events for at least a period of 2 years.
Wow.
Yes. Constant traumatic.
So you just can't wake up in the morning and say you are depressed.
Yes. But most often when people are traumatized, they are psychologically not balanced, they just say it is depression. It is not always depression. There are other things that can make you to be psychologically not balanced.
So sadness is not depression.
Sadness is not depression, but sadness is a sign that can already alert you that you are getting into depression.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
You had something?
Yeah, I was just trying to ask her one little question about the issue of people being, as she said, a little bit aggressive or having some negative attitudes.
Yes.
We consider them like people who have depression. But then, what about the situation where in a family where people come from, they have this negative way of behaving? They don't have a moral in them. They are just maybe quarrelsome, maybe aggressive, maybe a little bit wicked. Yeah. Their families say get people who are so quarrelsome.
That is why your background matters a lot. Where you are coming from. If you come from a home where there is always domestic violence, you grow up with that mentality. That is a mindset you have. You want to always abuse your classmates, your peers. Even when you get married, you transfer that attitude.
So it's like a trauma.
Yes, it's trauma. You grew up with it, and to you, when you were growing up with it, you thought it was something good.
Yeah.
Because if you see your father constantly beating your mother or your mother constantly beating, it's vice versa now. Women too, they do violate men. So if you see any of your parents being violent as a child, you tend to think that it's a good thing. On the other hand, there are children that will see that and they get traumatized to a level where they start developing personality disorders from the childhood.
Personality disorders like?
Like they want to be dependent. Yes, they want to be dependent. They need that somebody should tell them what to do. If somebody doesn't tell them what to do, they don't take initiatives. They don't believe in themselves. Yeah. They think that somebody must validate what they are doing for it to be something good for them to do.
Yeah. Okay, that's so true because violence could lead to different forms of reactions.
Yes.
You can become violent.
Yes.
You can become afraid.
Yes.
You can just isolate yourself completely from the world because you're avoiding any form of danger.
That's it.
So it's crazy how the world can transform your mindset and cause some mental issues to affect you. Another thing that we have to talk about is addiction.
Yes.
As a form of mental health illness, how does addiction manifest?
We take, for example, the common one, alcohol.
Okay.
People get to drink alcohol so much that it crowds their brains. And then when they go to their job sites, they are not productive. Even at home, they have become so useless. The children know they come back very late. They get up very late. They are not assiduous in anything that they do. So that is how addiction will affect you. And mentally, when you are not productive, you start seeing yourself as worthless. And once you start seeing yourself as worthless, in the long run, you would realize that you will get into depression. Because the things that you could do effortlessly, you no longer do them. The way you could think and respond to things around you, you no longer give that energy. And since you no longer give that energy, your level is dropping. And then you start thinking that, no, you are not worthy to live, and then you can give up on life. Also, we have things like these drugs, these marijuanas, the cocaines that young people take. When they take it, it makes their systems to be excited. They are in some sort of, they start by maybe an anxiety disorder, and then it gets gradually. You know, the more you take, the more you want to take. Just like that. And then you get to a point where your mind is completely blank. And then you have those episodes where you can just go off, and then you come back, and it's like you need an automation to bring back your mind and remember the things that happened, the things that you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You start forgetting a lot. You realize that you would do the things that you would not have been able to do if you did not take the drug. And because of the addiction, people in the community, I think the youth especially, they are those that are really affected. Yes, our youth. And it is out of peer pressure. Now they take these drugs because they want to prove to their friends that they too have become men and they can withstand what they are taking. And a child that is coming from a background where their immunity, there are some people whose immunity, they need to take a very higher dose before they are affected.
Yes.
But there are some people whose immunity is not that strong. And then when they take the drug, you see, they pass out, they collapse. And then when they get up, it can obstruct their minds for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's important for us to get to know these things, identify when you're becoming mentally unhealthy, and just like she said at the very start, see someone who can help you.
Yeah.
There are psychologists, psychiatrists, there are mental health counselors out there who can help you get back to your normal routine. So please don't hesitate. Don't say in Africa we don't do those things.
That is it.
Right? By the way, Sunday was Mother's Day. After talking about mental health issues, let's talk about a good thing and celebrate mothers. And this particular Vox Pop is a focus on the things that you learned from your mother that has stayed with you all of your life. Thanks to Valencia Guifuni, we have this Vox Pop.